Now then, here we are, and today I am going to take you on a tour of the Dull Dub. Now this is the VW Caddy Maxi, and it is my one-man adventure van, specifically designed and made by myself to take me off on many adventures around the UK, so I can use it as pretty much a base van really, just so I can get myself to a place, stop out for the night, and then from there go off into the mountains and do some wild camping, come back, recharge, refeed, and then get off again. So thus far it has worked absolutely perfectly for me. Anyway, let's take a look. We'll go around the outside first and then we'll get inside, and I'll show you all the unique cool things that I've got going on in that very small space. Starting at the front, as you can see, she is quite a beautiful machine. 2012 model. I've actually got private plates on it, which I put on just to create a little bit of intrigue really into the vehicle itself, because calling it the Dull Dub and just adding a couple of stickers here and there. I've also got there my QR code, so quite a few people have actually scanned that and joined into my YouTube channel just from that little bit of advertising, so it's definitely doing its work there. She has got a nice set of alloys on, which are quite a simple basic pair actually, just because they are a little bit more robust. As soon as you start getting a bigger alloy and the tyre comes slimmer, then the ride becomes a little bit more uncomfortable. So instead I've kept a smaller wheel and I've stuck on a big chunky set of these Yokohama Geolander all-terrains. So the fact that these have got quite a bit of grip on just means that when you are actually trying to find a space to park for the night, it just allows you to just venture out a little bit further. So that's something I'd always advise. On the top, let me jump up here. As you can see, we have got a set of roof bars. So I purposely put these on because I have a couple of kayaks and I need to be able to take my kayak off into, I don't know, Scotland, somewhere like that, to be able to utilise that. And obviously the best place for it is to bang it on top. The problem with having a kayak on there means that the solar panels will not work as efficiently, because you're probably covering at least half of them up. But it is nice also to have solar. So as you can see there, I have got two solar panels. Both are 100 watts each, and if you look, let me just climb down and climb back up again, you can see that I have made this super neat. We've got all these cables that used to be long and dangly, and I've tightened them all up so there's nothing there to flap about, and that does make a massive difference. I have fit a set of these lovely wind deflectors there, which are really important because it just allows you to crack the windows at night. As you can see, we've got an inch gap there, and it stops any water ingress whilst having airflow from this point through the cab to the other window, just to help reduce the amount of condensation build up. In the cab, you can see she's actually very tidy at the minute. Could do with a little bit more of a clean, but the reason is because sadly I am going to have to sell this vehicle. It's honestly going to kill me to do it because I put my heart and soul into it, but I have got a new plan, a new life plan and project, so look forward to that one because I will be showing it on my YouTube channel. She does have a couple of scrapes and dinks here and there, but overall the condition is pretty good. And I do have another little tiny one there, don't know if you can make that one out. But for me, I well prefer having a car that is actually used rather than having something that's perfect, because maintaining perfection with anything in life is hard work. It's anxiety inducing because you're just worried constantly that you're going to scrape it or put a scratch on it, whereas something like this, it just means that when you come to try find a park up and it's on off the beaten track somewhere to the most amazing beautiful view, you'll take it there. You're not going to mess about thinking, oh, I don't want to sort of ruin it. So, you know, get a vehicle that you can actually use rather than a bloody, I don't know, piece that you're going to just sort of sit on your mantelpiece and look at. Anyway, I think that's it for the outside. Let's get in and I'm going to show you the magic. This is where the magic happens, eh? Not that magic. Right, the exciting bit. Welcome. So there we go, we have my little vehicle. I love this van, absolutely love it. So I have fully kitted this out in every way possible to fully suit my needs for getting out on these adventures. So things for me that were really important were that I wanted to fit a bike in it, boom. Have a fixed single bed, boom. I want it to be full blackout, so as you can see, boom, I've made full blackout blinds which just magnet onto the sides there. And that just means that I can sit and chill in there in the middle of a town and nobody's going to bother me because they will not know that I'm in it, because no light will come out, and I've fully tested it. So firstly, I'm going to show you the kitchen. We've got a creep-in door. Now this is an issue that I found straight away, so what I did to overcome that, I actually made a couple of perfectly fit oak wedges that just drop in behind there, so you're never going to get anything sort of slamming, especially if you're cooking on the back door here. You don't want all your food to suddenly get sort of thrown everywhere. I've tried to think of everything for this van. Anyway, the kitchen itself, very basic. It has got a gas canister here, which obviously feeds a stove, and the stove sits on this lovely little table which just comes up and down like that. Now the clever thing about this is, which I've already shown in videos in the past anyway, but as you can see it splits, so we've got two there, and inside there we've got a chopping board, so that just means that I can chop and prep here or pop it on here and do that and still have space for doing the cooking. So a little clever idea there, and it's dead easy to put away because that just drops on there, and underneath I've got a magnet, so that is what's holding it together. Boom. Attached to the side of the van here, we've got some outside seating, which obviously is very important if you want to go and sit outside and eat your nice dinner and take in that view or sunset. So this one is just like an outside chair, and it obviously fits nicely up there. And all I've done is I've just used this sort of bungee system, and at 4 points along here, if I take this one off as well, you can see we've got these little eyelets, and that just allows me to attach anything to it. So obviously it works really well for these, but I've also got a washing line that will come across here as well, just so if you need to dry any kit, you can just get the airflow through the van and obviously dry that off. The utility section sits neatly hidden away at the back of the van, and that's good because obviously when you're sat inside you don't really want to be sort of looking at all these ugly knickknacks, including the bin. So the bin itself has a flip lid, and it does come out like this, which means I can access it from inside and when I'm outside doing the cooking. The clever thing about the bin is it's demountable because I've put a magnet on the back of this, so that just allows me to then clip that on and use it there, or if I want to I can clip it on somewhere else further down the van. And in here, let's have a look at the knickknacks. We've got all your sort of usual cooking bits, can openers, spatulas, pair of pot grabs. I've got scissors, plenty of knives, and if you look in here as well, if you can see, we've got some elasticated sections in these pouches, and that elastic fits perfectly one of these empty vitamin C tablet things, so that just slots in there, and that just allows me to then put all the sort of sharp bits in there without damaging everything. I've also got the very important trowel for digging outdoor toilets, and other than that, what else have we got? Oh look, we have got Light My Fire. These are a set of sausage cooking implements which are absolutely awesome when you've got an open fire. I have tried to make sure that the van is kitted out with everything I potentially might need, including those, but that just works brilliantly well. So from the kitchen, let's get further in. So the important thing for me was to have a full length bed which I can sleep in whilst I've got a bike here, just so that the bike isn't obviously outside and potentially going to get stolen. So I've got all my kit inside, and it bloody works brilliantly well. The bike itself here is just a road bike, but I've put a fork mount down in the bottom, which I'll show you in a minute, and that allows me to have any type of bike. My biggest bike's a 29er sort of mountain bike, and being a 29er, they're massive, but it fits in here perfectly well and still allows me to sleep in the bed. Oh look, the sun's come out to play. This is nice, isn't it? Anyway, because this van is small and suffers with height, I had to be really careful with how I set everything out to the literal millimetre. So one thing that was important was to get a decent sitting space where I've sat comfortably without sort of constantly whacking my head on the roof. And with that, I needed to have enough storage underneath. So it was just getting that balance and finding the right height for a bed. So currently I'm sat in here and it is pretty comfortable the way I've set it up, rather than being sort of up like the Hunchback of Notre Dame like some vans are. So what I did was I bought a wedge shaped cushion, and then I had made a cushion cover for it just to match in with all this, and that just takes the arch of the van side out, just to mean that when you do sit there it's actually quite comfy to sit against. I carpeted all the walls, and I did that just because I didn't want it to sort of feel like I was sleeping in a biscuit tin. Not that I've ever slept in a biscuit tin, but you know what I mean. And it just softens the whole space. It makes it feel more of a cozy place to be, and it's got a bit of sound deadening with it, which just allows more, I don't know, it's just like a wraparound hug. So it definitely does work. And as you can see, I've done an absolutely crackingly neat job everywhere with it. And also, if you can see, let's get some light on it, anything like that, and also this original light above your head, I've painted in black just so it sort of blends in and works well with all the colour scheme that I've got going on. Behind the walls, ceiling and floor, I fully insulated everything. I started off with a sound deadening against the metalwork, followed by a 10mm foam layer which was foil backed, and then the whole lot is wrapped in super quilt, and that is as good as you're going to get, in my opinion, for a camper van. For some extra storage which is detachable, I've got these tiny little hook clips here which will sit on there, and then straight away you've got this nice sort of soft basket area just to shove like some lightweight stuff like a jacket or two or a sleeping bag, just if needed. The bike sits neatly parallel next to the bed there, but if I just jump out and I'll show you the clever way that it's attached. So as you can see, it's absolutely rock solid is that, and it's not going anywhere. And all I've done is get a fork mount, and I've attached the fork mount to a bespoke made couple of bits of metal welded together with some bolts and wing nuts on so I can detach it, and that just allowed me to fix that to the original seat fixings which I've actually put under that piece of flooring there, and that just allows me to have 3 seats, one there and one there, just in case I have the 2 kids with me. The front wheel just slots in behind the seats there, but it can pretty much be attached anywhere. It'll sit nicely there, or there's tons of space down this sort of way for it. So you might be wondering what this is. Well, it is a container which is for holding breathing apparatus, and it is out of the HMS Ark Royal battleship. How cool is that? So I acquired that from a army surplus store, and I utilised it in here, and I'm so glad that I did, because if I just take this little clip off, which just holds it shut when I'm driving, drop that down, and boom, look at that. So straight away I have got a desk to sit at, I've got a place to eat, I've got a place to prep food if it's raining outside, and also, as you can see, I have got a television. So this is just it's actually a computer monitor, but it is fit with I don't know, usual sort of things like Netflix and YouTube and everything. So I can access that just by linking it to my phone, because it will hotspot off it. But how cool is that? So I can adjust that to sort of suit, so whether I'm sat at that end of the van or outside, I can still watch whatever I'm watching on YouTube. So let's delve into this. If I just push this to the side, and I'll show you the rest of the gubbins inside it. So I've just got a few containers there, so that just sort of holds, let's have a look inside, eh? There's a load of maps, because I love studying maps. In this one I have got, let's have a look, there's some bike locks and a couple of bits of camera kit and what have you. Let's just pop that back in there. And then in the middle you can see I've got a double socket with 2 USB charging points on, and this is like a little magnetic holder which just holds the cables in place, just so you're not sort of messing about. On this side I've got a DVD player and DVDs in there, and this one has just got another load of I don't know, sort of bric-a-brac that sort of fits in the van. Probably some bungees actually, and some clips and things like that, which just allow me to attach things to places on the van. But that just works absolutely brilliantly well. And if you can just see how I've mounted that, I have to be on a funny angle, but I had to make a piece of oak and shape it to fit perfectly against this metal plate, and obviously we have got this nice bracket, and it can all just be shut away. If you want to put a lock on there, you can lock it, so you could maybe use it as a safe, although I do actually have a safe under my butt now as well. So let's show you the magic bed. This bit's I think a very clever idea, because it made it very simple and easy rather than having to manufacture something. And it did take me a long time to find the exact piece I needed, but look at this. Are you ready then for the big reveal? This is me with my outside of the box thinking. Ready? Dun dun dun. A set of lockers. That is my bed. And I tell you what, it could not be any better. It is exactly the right width, being 600mm wide, because that is the same width as all my sleeping mats which I take up onto the mountains. So I just blow one of them up, and that gives me a nice bit of sponginess to sleep on, with the added sponginess of this inch thick sort of yoga mat, which again fits exactly right on there. So that could not be any better. And with it, it just allows me to have a massive amount of storage underneath. So obviously just flip that back, and in here, because it's vertical storage as well, you get to shove in a lot more stuff, because it will fill to the top rather than having a drawer at the side. If you put a drawer in, it can be a bit awkward, because you end up obviously have to put the gubbins of the drawers in, but you just lose space, because cupboards and doors at this side just end up having stuff falling out and messing about. So I just think it is brilliant. Look at that. So going through each one, we have all my sort of kitchen gear in here. So there's cups, I've got my kettle, cooking pans, I've got my Ridge Monkey, what's that called, sandwich maker, which is absolutely amazing. A couple of other bits of Ridge Monkey gear in there, and the actual stove I use is a Ridge Monkey one as well. In this one generally I put food in it, so currently I have got a few little leftover bits of food and what have you in there. For my water, I use this Sea to Summit water bladder, and this works brilliantly well, because if I just spread your legs and sit you there, there we go. I've actually attached just a little hanging loop here, and that fits there, and that's the door latch which hooks onto one of these rings here. And once it's on there, it can't come off, because obviously the latch has grabbed it, and to release it you just open the door. So all I do is hook that there, and because it's got this nice little valve on, I've just got water on tap, literally on tap, sat at the back of the van. So that works brilliantly well. Carrying on with this, let's go back another couple. I'll just shove that out of the way. So this one I end up putting a few more bits in. I've got like a little tiny heater there which just gives a bit of warm air if needed. That is a sleeping mat which fits on top of here. There's a hammock in there. We've got some spare gas, toilet paper. This one's a magic one because, well, we've got an axe for a start, but I've actually put a safe in here. So this works really well because obviously it's a safe to lock away any valuables, but also this whole unit is bolted to the frame of the chassis of the van through there. So to take this out, you need to get the key to release the bolt to get the thing out. In these 4 sections, I generally put in my clothes. So this one, that's got some jeans and hoodies and things like that in. In here, I generally put my jackets. So currently there's just one jacket, which is a big down one, which is just nice to put on to keep you warm in the van. This is me shorts, socks and boxer shorts, and my nice slippers, which I just use for in the van. And because actually these have got a nice solid sole, it just means that you're not having to put a proper boot on if you do just need to nip out for a wee anywhere. And the final one, that has got my shoes in, and there's my little emergency triangle there. So as far as storage goes, that is absolutely plenty. It's really, really good. I honestly think it is just a brilliant idea, because having a set of lockers which are pre-made saved a massive amount on the time of building it, and they weigh probably, I'd say, less overall than if you were to do that in solid ply, because with that you've got all the hinges to think about and all the messing about making all the units sit and be strong enough to take your body weight. And I just did it in 1 second, clicking a button, buy. So there we go. Behind the driver's seat here, we have got another area for storage, and it's pretty much the only ugly area of the van, purely because it's an IKEA bag. So ideally I'd swap that out with something that looked a bit nicer, but it does what it needs to do. Also under here, I have got a Thermarest ProLite 3 sleeping mat from probably about 2005, and that works as a second bed in this van if needed. I'll show you that in a minute. Also under here, if I just take this out, you can see we've got a little bit more storage. And that little area there, I generally don't use it, but there's plenty just to sort of shove in odds and ends that probably a bit more longer term storage. And let's pop that back. Let's just take this out of the way because it's annoying me. And that's the good thing about these things that clip on and clip off. You can just add them and take them away as and when you need them. So in this bag I've got some important bits, starting with a blackout for the windscreen and the 2 front windows. And if I'm on a campsite, then obviously it's easy enough just to pop them on, and it just means that this space feels a bit bigger because it's fully open to right through to the front of the cab. But if I need to be a bit more stealthy, I have got somewhere, it's not here, it must be at home, but basically I have got a curtain which attaches to these magnets, and that just sits there. So if I need to be a bit more stealthy, I can hide away and block all light that is emitting from this to mean that nobody knows I'm even in the van. So that works really well. Now this is quite interesting, and I have to say I have used it. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So for £1.50, which is what this cost me, I made a toilet. So that plus this, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a kids I don't know, potty type thing, which adds to a toilet. But hear me out, please hear me out. But that and that fit perfectly together. So as a what's the word, a desperate situation means that with a bag, I just bag obviously the bin section, pop the seat on, and I can actually get away with going to the toilet in here if I'm extremely desperate. So anyway, a toilet for £1.50. Where else do you get that, eh? Let's now show you what this does. So we'll get out this Thermarest mat. I'll give it a couple of breaths of air. As you can see, that mat fits absolutely perfectly there, and that just utilises that space to have it as a second bed, just in case you take your kid away for the weekend or you've got a mate that's coming on an adventure with you. Above the cab there's this shelf, and this is where I store a couple of items that I just need that are quick to get, really. So I've got a waterproof jacket just in case I need to get out the door in the rain, and a down jacket there for some warmth, and that is my down quilt, which is what I sleep on that bed. So next, let's have a look at the electrics. I'll show you exactly what I've done. So I've put in quite a few different lights, because lights I think are important because they give you that nice sort of warmth and ambience. So firstly, I've got these two lights here, which as you can see, they click on and off there, and because they're on like this I don't know, what do you call it, like a flexible arm, that just allows me to have the light angled to wherever I need it. So whether it's onto my dinner when I'm eating, or if I need, I can bring it out here, and you know, it just lights up all this. And the same with this side. This one's probably more important because obviously inside it does what it needs to do for lighting up, but out here it's then shining down onto the area for cooking. I've put in here a 12 volt socket and some USB chargers, and that just means that having a 12 volt port, I've got like an external light which is on a magnet that can attach in there and then sit to the roof, and then that's a big flood just in case, I don't know, you need to have some lighting on your party that you're having. Underneath here I've got some secret electric as well, and that is a 240, let's see if you can see it. There you go, a 240 socket there, and it's got 2 USB chargers on it as well. And obviously that just means that I can plug in things like a fridge, because I've got a portable fridge that can sit here sometimes, and I don't know, you can run some tools off the back or something like that. From there, what else have we got? Oh yeah, there's also this light under here, and if you can see that, it's awkward as this. It ain't easy doing it. So there we have a light. Now this has 3 stages. It's got a red light, a white light, and off. And on a night, if you just put that on, it just gives enough to be able to sort of see within the van without drawing any attention to yourself at all, because it's red. We'll turn that off. I've actually got another one of those as well. If I just open this door. So this light up here is exactly the same. That has got off, red and white light, which is brilliant because that's above my head. So quite often when I'm sleeping here, that's the light that I just sort of have on later on. And also just if I need anything in the night, bang that one on. Behind this door, we've got a little bit of storage here as well, which I just have, I don't know, cables. We've got some bungees there. Torches, because it's always handy just to have a sort of torch to grab when you need. And in here we've got some of the bungees that I've made. Let me just show you. So these got these little clips and elasticated bungees, and those fit, as I've said before, across the back there, and also they can fit across here if you need to hang any washing out. This is on one big magnetic, well, I say magnetic, I actually added the magnets to it, and that just fits perfectly there. Another little add-on, which I'm going to just grab for you. I just got a bottle cage there, and I've added a magnet to it, so that just means that this can actually attach anywhere I need. So if I need it at night in somewhere, I can just shove it on the side there, and I've got a drink. Brilliant, eh? Anyway, back to the electrics. So I am powering everything here with this EcoFlow power station. Now I could use any size power station and just fit it in there because it's more to do with the wiring than the power needed. I have wired this in such a way that I've got a 240 extension basically that runs from here to the sockets which I've just explained, and the 12 volt light system runs from this. So this actually only has 10 amps output, I think, but that is plenty for running the lights that I've got here. So it actually works brilliantly well, and obviously this is movable, so you can actually they were driving fast. You can actually lift that out and take it down to the beach to power your party if needed. And all I've done, if you can see there, I've just locked it to the actual chair, so if anyone wanted to steal it, it'd just make it a lot harder work for them. On this side of the power station, we've got plenty of USB sockets here, but if the battery was flat in that, what I've done is I've actually put on a permanent live 2 USB sockets there and also a 12 volt. So that just means that I've always got power just to charge my phone or whatever at night, even if this thing is dead. My switch panel here is neatly done just into the side of this unit, and the top one here is a dimmable switch, and that is linked to nothing currently. I've just got a couple of bare wires there, and the same at the other side, because I was hoping to just run some sort of fancy light in there. This one does the light at the back. That's the one above my head. This is a little temperature gauge. So as you can see, it's absolutely burning hot outside. 54 degrees at the minute. So the outside one is actually obviously not functioning properly, whereas the inside is giving the correct temperature of 11 degrees. So I'm going to hopefully get another one of these units and refit that. And then finally, the bottom one is for that light under there, which for me is enough to make my life happy. I've just whipped out the power station from its seat, and that is because I want to show you the magic that is going on under here. So we have got the 12 volt cable which feeds the van, the 240 extension. This is the solar input, and we have got this, which is an old Makita drill which I cut the handle off and I linked a cable to it, so the 18 volt batteries that I've got will actually power a couple of lights in the van. Mainly the two at the back, because those are multi-voltage. These ones I can't use because it potentially might blow them, but it just gives me a backup just in case. And to make that work, I've actually got an isolator switch here, so I can totally isolate everything off. I can turn it on to the Makita system or onto the rest of it. It's quite simple really. Anyway, under here, let's just shove them cables back a bit. I have got, I don't know if I'm going to do this one-handed, I've got my fuse board there. So as you can see, I've got all the cables running into this point, and I've actually got extra cables lying there in wait just in case I need anything else adding, but it just allows a bit more safety having that there. So anyway, something that I've not got in the van, which I normally do have, is the Makita vacuum cleaner, which is just a little tiny one which just will take up any of the dust and crap that you accumulate whilst you're out and about. And I also have a fan as well which runs off the 18 volt batteries, so that's why I just thought that was an absolutely genius idea to add that extra backup just for the lighting system in the van, just in case. I mean, as you can see, I have got my Makita charger there, and also for absolute final backup, this is a Makita USB charger. So that again just works with the batteries. I mean, for a tiny little van, there's a hell of a lot going on in it, and I absolutely love it. I love it. And it's gonna literally break my heart if I have to sell this thing, but it looks as if I'm gonna have to do that. Well, I hope you have enjoyed my van tour of my very special little VW Caddy Maxi. It has honestly been brilliant for me, and I'm hoping that someone else is going to utilise it in the same way that I have and get as much happiness out of it as I have. And also, I just hope that some of you guys get some bit of inspiration from this, just to maybe take some of my ideas and then utilise it in your own van. So anyway, give the video a big fat thumbs up, and check out all my other videos, because I do loads of adventures in loads of places, and it is usually me in some menacing conditions up on a mountain wild camping. So anyway, it has been a pleasure. Bye from me, and bye from my little van. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.